Thank you for joining our Wednesday call, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, every single Wednesday. So what we're going to talk about tonight is some different questions that agents had in regards to Medicare when they're out in the field. So with that said, we have question number one, which is how can a client be on a Medicare supplement when they're under the age of 65? So that's a great question. And the answer is the same exact way that they would be able to get on a Medicare Advantage plan. That's by being disabled for greater than 24 months, automatically being enrolled in Medicare, and having both Parts A and Parts B. You're eligible. You can get on it, right? You can enroll in it. You get that period with no underwriting, the open enrollment, where you are eligible to join that plan. So with that said, the rates are generally a lot higher. So we ran into a case today. I think the guy was on a Plan F and he was 64 years old now. He's paying $341 a month. I don't know how long the person's had the plan for, but what I will tell you is that the cost was very expensive. And once this person turns 65, they get into an open enrollment period for turning 65, T65, and the rates will go down quite dramatically. So that's really awesome for us as agents to kind of have that understanding is, hey, you could be on this stuff before age 65. And as soon as you turn 65, we can put you on a different plan, different company. The client was also on a Plan F, whereas they should be on a Plan G, as you guys understand why, right? It's a shrinking pool of people. So we need to put them into a pool where you can add new blood to offset that risk and stabilize rates for a long period of time. The next question that we had over here was, what if someone is over 65 but not on Medicare? Is there anything that we could do? They literally don't have any Medicare at all. So that answer to that question is, well, generally what it is, just so you guys know, is someone has not worked. They don't have the credits, right? So they haven't worked over 10 years or 40 quarters cumulatively through their whole life, not consecutively, cumulatively through their whole entire life. So what we found is that if these people don't have the credits for that, they're not on disability, right? They're not on Medicaid or something, they have to pay a premium to get Part A. Most people don't pay a premium for Part A, right? But most people do pay a premium for Part B unless they have their lower income and they meet those thresholds to qualify for those subsidies from the states. So with that said, that's why someone would not have Medicare and be over 65. Maybe they came to the States when they were in their 60s and they didn't clock enough time. They didn't pay enough taxes, right? So they don't have enough points. They don't have enough credits is what they call it. Okay, so that's a reason why. Now, let's say, for example, they've been in the States for an extended period of time. They live here, right? And they qualify for Medicaid. Well, if the government came to them and you call Social Security, which is where you apply for Medicare, and the government came to them and said, hey, you need to apply, right, for Social Security. The Social Security, they call them, they say, hey, you need to apply for Medicare. You apply for Medicare and you get it, but then they come back and say, hey, you're going to have a premium for Part A. In addition to your Part B premium, which is $170.10 for the remainder of this year and about $164 a month for next year in 2023. So they'll come back and they'll say, you got to pay this premium. But if they qualify for Medicaid, Medicaid will pick up those premiums. So that's a great thing to know. So they're going to pick up those premiums. They're not going to have to pay it, which is great news for them. So they don't have to pay that premium. They don't have to worry about it. And now they can get the plan. And the reason why most of these people, they don't have any sort of Medicare, they don't have any sort of Medicare just in general, and they can't afford to be in Medicare, what I find a lot of times is because they just simply can't afford to have that Part A and Part B. They can't afford to pay the premiums. But good news is that we can help them qualify for other things, such as those subsidies that might pay for those premiums so they can enroll in it. Okay. Now, another question that I had come in was, what if someone only has one part, but not the other? Okay. So this is a situation that we ran into, and this person was actually on Medicaid and had Part B as of 2022 in this year, but the individual, right, they did not have any Part A. So if a client doesn't have Part A, what do we do, right? If they don't have Part A and they only have Part B, or they only have Part A and they don't have Part B, what happens is the client themselves can't get into the plan, okay, because we can't sell a Medicare Advantage plan to someone that doesn't have both Parts A and Parts B. What we can sell them is a prescription drug plan only. But generally, if they can't afford the Part A, Part B, they don't see the value in having a prescription drug plan. So most of the times I've found they don't want it, but we could sell it to them. So that's good news. Okay. So let's go over a scenario where someone is on Medicaid and they just have one part of Medicare. Well, all they need to do is they need to just call up Social Security and enroll in that other part. And once they enroll in that other part, they're going to then become eligible to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan once they have Part A and Part B. And whatever their premiums are for Part A and Part B is going to be paid for by the state Medicaid program. So that's great news. That's great news. So let's look at the next one over here. Clients under age 65. Hey, I bought leads and I paid for these leads, and all of a sudden, right, I get leads that are people that are under 65 years old. That's not Medicare. I can't do that. Nope. You're wrong. You can sell Medicare to people that are under age 65. They just have to be disabled for greater than 24 months. Okay. And what happens with that, as long as they're disabled for greater than 24 months, they are automatically enrolled in Medicare. So because of that disability, regardless of age, you could be 18 years old and be enrolled in Medicare, but because of their disability, end stage renal disease, right? If you are on dialysis, you're going to get into Medicare. Okay. You have to wait 3 months, I believe. So with that said, right, that's one way that they can do it. Another way is just by being disabled, whatever their disability is. Okay. And they get disability, SSDI. They're on that for greater than 24 months and they're automatically enrolled. Let's say you sit down with someone that says that they're disabled. Okay. And they're like, hey, I've been disabled for 10 years. I don't have no Medicare. Okay. Well, if someone's disabled for greater than 24 months, they're automatically enrolled. Okay. So that means there's nothing that they need to do. And if they're not in it, can we sell someone that doesn't have a bank account? Can we sell them life insurance? No, nothing we can do. Go get a bank account. I can help you. Can you sell someone that doesn't have Medicare or Medicare Advantage plan? No, there's nothing you could do. So what we need to do is, you reach out, see if there's one of those prior scenarios that I just mentioned and see if they're eligible for it at all, right? If someone is on Social Security prior to age 65 and they say, hey, yeah, I'm going to enroll in Medicare now. And let's just say, for example, we'll go over someone that's collecting Social Security prior and someone that is not collecting Social Security while turning 65. Okay. So if someone is collecting Social Security for 3 months before they turn 65, they're automatically enrolled in Medicare. They'll get their cards sent on out to them. All right, great. Now, what if someone is not enrolled in Social Security? They're not receiving their Social Security before they turn 65. What do? Well, they just have to call Social Security's number, right? Not a scam number or anything. Go on Google, go to Social Security's website and pull up the actual number, or text me and I'll text it to you, right? Get the actual number, and they have to enroll themselves. So they have to call on up, because what I find, I see it all the time. I had a guy who just enrolled T65, got a Medicare supplement with me, and he is still working. He's like, hey, I'm not going to collect my Social Security. How do I pay this? Set it up to his bank account. His Part B premium is going to have to come out of his bank account. His prescription drug plan, his Medicare supplement, that's all going to have to come out of his bank account. So we do that. We get the guy hooked on up and he's good to go, right? Because he's not receiving his Social Security. They can't take that Part B deduction, that Part B premium, and deduct it from his Social Security, right? They can't just take out the prescription drug plan, the PDP, the Part D, and take that right out of his Social Security. Right. So that's not going to happen. So what we have to do is we got to get this guy hooked up. I got to show him what to do. I had to help him apply for it. Right. I tell him, here's the steps that you got to do. He does it, calls me back, sends me the card. We're good to go. Get him enrolled and he's hooked up. Right. And he's got questions, anything he needs, I take care of him. Another question that we had was people don't want to change their plans because they think it's inconvenient or difficult to do so. That is a fact. Right. And I talk about this all the time. There is whenever someone goes to buy a car, right, this is the best analogy that I can always come up with, right? Is there pain with the buying process? Yes, right? There's going to be pain with the buying process a majority of times, unless you know how to deal with the dealership and get in and out in 15 minutes, right? That's what I do. If I'm going to go buy a new car, I'm in and out. Like, I am done, right? Done. I know how to do it and I know how to do it fast, right? If you go in with cash, you're done. It's even faster. So with that said, it's just like the life insurance side. People don't want to do things. We're very routine oriented people. I like to take the same route when I go to the grocery store. I like to take the same route when I go to the gym. I like to take the same route. If I go and I leave my office, I go to the home office, right? I like to take the same route for anything that I do, right? I like to go to bed at the same time. I like to wake up at the same time. I like to have my cup of coffee in the morning at the same time. I like to break my fast at the same time, right? We're very routine oriented people. We like what we got. We don't like change. And for some people, that's the main reason why they don't want to change. So what do you need to do to ensure them that this change, this transition is simple, it's easy? Well, of course, you also have to explain to them, hey, I work with the majority of the top companies in the state. Let me tell you the ones that I work with. You explain the ones that you work with. I work with Cigna. I work with WellCare. I work with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. I work with United Healthcare. I work with Humana, right? I work with WellCare. I work with Aetna. I work with all these top companies. Here's the list of the ones that I work with. You're currently in Humana. If you leave Humana and you want to go to United Healthcare, okay, it's a very simple process. I actually do everything for you. That's why I have a job, right? I take care of anything that you need. You don't have to press 1 for English, 2 for Spanish, right? And then you got to be on hold 15, 20 minutes. You call me directly. I take care of everything. And if you don't like the company, the good news is, since I just told you that I work with the company that you currently have, I'm also able to help you get back enrolled in that plan. Hypothetically, if it didn't work out and you absolutely hated it, right? So I overcome an objection before it even becomes an objection. That's a very, very crucial thing for me, making sure that I eliminate the pain with the buying process. I don't want there to be pain associated with the buying process. If there's pain associated with the buying process, they ain't going to do it. So we need to make sure they understand, hey, it's really easy. It's a simple transition. I actually do everything. There's nothing that you need to do. You don't need to call Humana. You don't need to call your doctors or anything like that. When you go in the doctor's office, you give them the card. It's that simple, right? All your drugs, all your doctors are going to stay the same. I already checked to make sure they take it before I even say anything to you. I have to do my work to make sure I'm putting you in the best situation, because this is my job and this is what puts food on my family's table. So I need to ensure that I'm doing the right thing by you, because if I don't, I'm going to get in trouble, right? And I don't want to get in trouble. I want to do the best job that I possibly can. And I want to put you in the best possible situation that you can be in, right? And if you are in a great situation, I'm just going to tell you that. And then what I'll do is if there's ever any changes, I'm going to come back out here and I'm going to help you. Okay. If you ever need anything, I'm going to help you, because every year's plans change. So what I'll do is we can always get back in touch. You can call me, you can reach out to me, and I'll help you out as best as I can with everything. So I'll take care of you. And that could be someone that's in your pipeline, right? That reaches back out to you. Maybe they give you referrals. Hey, do you know anyone that I might be able to help? Maybe they can give you referrals. And you're not going to be able to help everyone. That's just the reality of it. So if you look at leads and the number of leads that you have, we're looking at fresh, exclusive direct mail, and you're getting, 20 leads, 30 leads a week, whatever it might be. You need a 20, 25, 30% closing ratio to make it work. So if all those total leads, I only need to write 3 out of 10 people, 7 out of 10 people, they're just not going to buy. They're not going to change. They like what they got, and that's fine. And there's other options and other products that we can sell them as well. So it's just not stopping at just one stop and saying, hey, that is absolutely fine. What about a hospital indemnity plan? Because in your current plan, I see some gaps, and the gaps that I see inside of your current plan, okay, those are, if you were to go and take an ambulance to the hospital, it's $300. If you were in the hospital per day, you have a copayment, that's $300. Okay. If you fell, you broke your hip, you had to go to the hospital, right? Of course, you're going to have some co-payments for your surgeries as well. And you're there for 5 days. You take an ambulance there, that's $300 plus the extra $1,500. That's $1,800 before any other medical bills, right? That's a large check to clip. And most people, Miss Mary, they're on a fixed income that we deal with. Okay. So the reality is they can't afford to pay $1,800. That's more than their rent. That's more than some people's Social Security's check. So you are in a great plan with a great company that I work with, that I like. I personally like them. I think they're great for a lot of people. Everyone's situation's a little bit different, right? So that's why I think it's so incredibly important that we make sure that we have something that can cover you for out of pocket costs. Okay. Because I don't want you getting stuck with any medical bills. Wouldn't you agree, Miss Mary, that if you just paid $30 to $40 a month to cover a $2,000 medical bill, that would help you, right? Wouldn't you agree that would help you, right? So you can transition and pivot to other products to be able to help put them in the best situation. So that's usually what that is as well. Does anyone have any questions other than the ones that we had sent on in. Tonight's just going to be a little bit shorter call. As you guys know, I was telling you, my sister had the baby, so a lot of traveling, running around and stuff. It's been crazy hectic. 4 weeks early, but the baby is healthy, so everything is well. So I've been traveling, going up and down. So Monday call was, an hour and 20 minutes. So they're close to an hour and 30 minutes. So that one ran a lot longer, which is great. And we went over all the updates, all the changes and everything. Just make sure when you're in Sunfire and using your plan comparison tool, just make sure that, hey, you guys are doing the right steps. You're following the steps to sell Medicare. You're filling out that Medicare worksheet. You're going out there and you're building the profiles in Sunfire. You're helping every single person. Okay. So that's really, really important for you guys as well, to make sure that you're doing all that stuff and building the success for your future. So that way you can go ahead and ensure that your clients are getting in the best situation and you're looking at the proper data. So with that said, I appreciate everyone for joining. I told you guys it's going to be a short call. It won't be an hour. I know most calls that I run are an hour, but hey, I got a lot to do. I've been staying really busy, so I'm going to help you guys out. I'll be seeing you guys next week. I appreciate it. Sorry for keeping it show short, but I'll be seeing you all next week on Monday for the final expense training call, and then next Wednesday on the call for Medicare sales training. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.